Welcome to the West Baton Rouge Museum, located in Port Allen on the west bank of the Mississippi River, just across from the state capital. When Louisiana was admitted to the Union in 1812, the land on the east and west banks of the river became East and West Baton Rouge parishes. The city of Port Allen is named after Henry Watkins Allen, who served as the last Confederate governor of Louisiana. A museum is a treasure house, filled with stories from the past. It provides a window through which we can catch a glimpse of days gone by, to get a sense of what life was like here 100, 200, 300 years ago. During your visit, you can learn about the people of this area, the changes they've endured, and hopefully to help you understand how our heritage has come to shape who we are today. Founded in 1968, we are a regional history museum set on 6 acres, with historic buildings and exhibits that help to describe plantation life in South Louisiana from the antebellum period through the struggle for civil rights. Visitors can tour a French Creole house from the 1830s, a slave cabin from Allendale Plantation, a Reconstruction-era dwelling, a Civil Rights-era field workers' cabin, a 1938 shotgun house, and a sugar plantation mercantile store. The grounds include a mule-driven cane grinder and a living example of sugarcane rows. Our main building is filled with galleries and dynamic exhibits that offer a sweeping view of our history, from the time of the Native Americans and European explorers to the current day. Our primary focus is on the sugar industry, as it has dominated our parish's economy for centuries. Visitors enjoy the narrated 22-foot mechanical model of a sugar mill built in 1904. The exhibit From Field to Factory chronicles the history of the early sugar industry in Louisiana through the industrial age. Sugar Stories features audio tape recollections about the parish from the people who lived here. Then there is so much you don't see. We are constantly working on changing exhibitions from the permanent collection held at the museum. It contains over 6,500 photographs and objects of historical significance and continues to grow. Our mission is to preserve our parish history as a legacy for future generations. Throughout our history, the river has supported our existence. Riverfront lands and larger bayous were the best places to settle in order to travel and transport crops. Colonial land grants were based upon frontage along waterways, especially the Mississippi River. The majority of settlers received a narrow parcel of riverfront with additional property extending about 1.5 miles back. This allowed for more access to the waterways. During the 18th and 19th centuries, the river was lined with plantations. For years it was said that cotton was king in the South, but in this part of Louisiana, it was sugar, sometimes referred to as white gold, that fueled the economy from the late 1700s until the mid-1950s. During the antebellum period, almost all of the sugar grown in the United States came from Louisiana. In 1795, Etienne de BluRay was able to granulate significant amounts of sugar by boiling it in kettles at his plantation near New Orleans, proving that commercial sugar production was possible in our climate. Although the methods have changed over the years, the process is still basically the same. Cane is planted by simply laying stalks in furrows and covering them with earth. New sprouts grow directly from the old stalks. For the harvest, stalks of cane are cut and the juice is extracted, and then the liquid is removed, leaving crystals of sugar. In the earliest days, sugar was produced on large plantations with on-site grinding. Their operation was sustained by slave labor. Along with the increase in production came the demand for more slaves. By the onset of the Civil War, slaves comprised almost half the population in Louisiana. Following the Civil War, freed African Americans had little choice in terms of work, and many ended up back on the same plantations. Although they still worked in the fields and in the homes of wealthier white citizens, they were segregated from mixing with whites in public. This was to change as a result of the Civil Rights Movement. As the 20th century progressed, mechanical harvesters and grinding equipment replaced human and animal labor in the fields and in the mills. In 1900, there were 16 sugar mills in West Baton Rouge. In 1924, there were 8. And by 1976, only 2 remained. The last mill in West Baton Rouge Parish closed in 2005. West Baton Rouge has had to reinvent itself to survive the changing times. Plantations have been replaced with chemical plants. The Port Allen Lock connects the Mississippi to the intracoastal waterway system. We are at the hub of major highways, waterways, and railroads, making the port of Greater Baton Rouge one of the 10 largest in the United States. The river has once again proven its worth, helping to generate successful industries and international commerce. Living with the mighty Mississippi has shaped our character. Our love for the land is tempered with an abiding respect for the river. For millennia, sediments deposited along her banks as they overflowed created the rich topsoil that nurtured our crops. The same floods that built the land would also wash it away. Throughout our history, we have learned to adapt, to regroup, to rebuild. It has made us a strong, resilient people. The culture of Louisiana is a unique blend. We are a gumbo, made all the richer for the variety of its ingredients. Our society is characterized by a joie de vivre, or joy for life. We embrace family, food, and friends, and celebrate them at every opportunity. The museum hosts a variety of events throughout the year to reach out and share with the community. We thank you for taking the time to visit and hope you'll be enriched by the experience. Here on our grounds, you can step back into another century to gain an appreciation of where we are today from the perspective of those who've gone before. You're welcome to come back anytime to explore, to discover. There's always something new to see here at the West Baton Rouge Museum.